The editor says, what about the only new third-year student, Kiryuin Fuka? Now we're talking, here we go. You guys already know Kiryuin is my favorite character, so I'm gonna make sure I read this part very carefully. Tomase says, Kiryuin is still the most challenging character to draw for me. The first time I drew her sitting down was for the volume 2 illustration of the second year arc, and I personally think it's the best and coolest depiction. You are so right. That illustration was definitely a very good way to just introduce her into the series. Kiryuin, in my opinion, has one of the best introductions in the series. I would put her up there with Tsukishiro, Yagami, Amasawa, and so on. So continuing, Tomase says, there are times when it's frustrating because I can't quite capture the essence I achieved in that rough sketch. Kiryuin also went through a bit of criticism. Oh, did she? And Tomase says, for some reason, Kinugasa-sensei became more strict in the second year students edition. Kinugasa says, well, the important parts, right? And Tomase says, that's right, but in the end, I'm glad I was criticized. The editor says, does Kinugasa have something against Kiryuin? What? Kinugasa says there are settings that only I hold internally, not shown outwardly. For example, the White Room or timelines that haven't been depicted or the past. There are several important characters in the background and Kiryuin is one of them. Although not shown in the main story, I have prepared this character and personally really like them. However, they have the sad fate of not being able to be shown in the main student edition. Now this is interesting because it definitely confirms that Kiryuin definitely will have a part after the story. He's basically saying it right here, that after graduation, there will be a role for her outside of the advanced nurturing high school, and I think Kinugasa also said he wants to continue this story just a little bit outside of the school. So I'm very excited to see what he has in store for Kiryuin because he's also set up a lot of possibilities for her by, introducing her family, her lineage, and also in Year 2 Volume 11, he's putting it out there that she has the ambition of being a politician, which is something that we know has heavy influence in Classroom of the Elite. Politics is a recurring theme in the series and it has heavy influence in even Ayanokoji's upbringing because the founding of the White Room came from a political origin. So continuing, the editor says, the person themselves wanted to repeat a year but couldn't. Tomase says, didn't you say we might meet Kiryuin after graduation? Kinugasa says, right. That setting exists in my mind. Tomase says, it feels like there's quite an epic story to follow. Kinugasa says, because that setting exists, I want to bring it out. It's a character with a strong will for the future. The editor says, the character with 3 character kanji names have a suspicious aura, don't they? Kinugasa says, indeed.